On January 11, 2026, Indonesia is once again grappling with a severe flooding emergency as torrential rains and flash floods devastate large parts of the country. From the nation's bustling capital, Jakarta, to remote rural communities in North Sulawesi and West Sumatra, the relentless downpour has triggered a new wave of destruction. Entire neighborhoods are submerged, families are being evacuated, and critical infrastructure is underwater. This marks yet another tragic chapter in what has become a prolonged and worsening rainy season across Southeast Asia's largest island nation. As rain continues to fall and floodwaters rise, millions of lives hang in the balance. Jakarta, one of the most densely populated cities in the world, has been hit hard by days of heavy rainfall. Floodwaters quickly overwhelmed the city's outdated drainage systems, turning major roads into rivers and bringing daily life to a standstill. Emergency workers are using rubber boats to rescue families stranded in flooded homes. Traffic is paralyzed in many parts of the city. Thousands of residents have been forced to evacuate to temporary shelters after water levels reached chest height in some districts. The capital is under a flood alert, with authorities monitoring the situation around the clock. For many residents of Jakarta, floods have become an unwelcome annual reality, but this year's severity is among the worst in recent memory. In North Sulawesi, the situation is even more dire. Flash floods and landslides have torn through mountain communities, destroying homes and washing away everything in their path. At least 14 people have been confirmed dead, with many more missing. Roads and bridges have collapsed, isolating entire villages. Rescue operations are facing enormous challenges due to blocked access and unstable terrain. Families are mourning loved ones lost in the night, as floodwaters surged into homes without warning. The destruction is widespread, with fields, schools, and public buildings reduced to mud and rubble. Local authorities are racing against time to clear debris, deliver aid, and reach the hardest hit areas before more rain arrives. West Sumatra continues to suffer from the lingering impacts of devastating floods that began in late 2025. Entire communities are still recovering from earlier disasters and now face renewed flooding and landslides. The economic toll in this region alone has been staggering, with damage estimates nearing $2 billion. Crops have been destroyed, roads remain impassable, and access to clean water and electricity is still limited in many districts. Relief efforts are underway, but the scale of need is overwhelming. For many families, this new round of flooding has wiped out what little they had managed to rebuild. On the island of Bali, local governments are taking proactive steps to prevent disaster. With the rainy season now in full swing, authorities have begun installing early warning systems in flood-prone areas. These systems include water level sensors and sirens designed to alert communities before floodwaters reach dangerous levels. Community members are being trained to monitor the equipment and respond quickly to alarms. Bali has seen frequent flash floods in recent years, and this initiative represents a major effort to reduce the loss of life and property. Residents are being encouraged to stay informed, prepare emergency kits, and avoid riverbanks and low-lying areas as rainfall continues. As of January 11th, the latest national reports indicate a growing toll from the floods and related disasters. 14 people have lost their lives in North Sulawesi alone. Hundreds of homes have been destroyed or severely damaged. Thousands of residents have been displaced, and tens of thousands more remain at risk as rains continue. Damage to infrastructure, agriculture, and housing is mounting across multiple provinces. Several major highways are closed due to landslides, and many remote villages have lost all communication. The total economic impact of this rainy season is expected to rise sharply in the coming weeks.
Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, may tantitini. Ya Allah, ya Allah. Allah.
Meteorologists and climate experts have warned that these extreme rainfall events are becoming more frequent and more intense due to global climate change. Indonesia is entering the peak of its rainy season, typically spanning December through March. However, this year's rainfall has far exceeded historical averages. One of the key drivers of the disaster is deforestation in upstream areas, which has stripped the land of its natural ability to absorb water. Without trees and vegetation, rainwater flows rapidly downhill, increasing the risk of landslides and flash floods. In urban areas like Jakarta, overdevelopment and poor drainage infrastructure have compounded the crisis, turning cities into flood zones within hours. Indonesia's national government has declared a high alert status in over a dozen provinces. The president has called for unity, resilience, and smart recovery. He emphasized the importance of relocating at-risk communities, restoring critical infrastructure, and expanding disaster preparedness programs. Emergency teams, military personnel, and volunteers are being deployed to distribute supplies, provide medical aid, and assist in evacuations. In affected regions, schools have been closed, power outages are common, and shelters are quickly reaching capacity. The government has also requested international assistance to help manage the growing crisis, particularly in remote and mountainous areas that are difficult to access.